Hi, first graders. It's Miss Diley. Today's story for reading is going to be another folk tale. Just a reminder that folk tales are stories that are told for many, many years. They usually have a lesson at the end, and they have animals in them, okay? So, most folk tales. This story is originally told in Mexico, so not here in the United States. And it's about two characters that are on the front cover. It's called The Tale of Rabbit and Coyote. So just looking at the cover, we're able to identify who the main characters are going to be about. Rabbit and Coyote, okay? So, I'm just going to get started right away, and I want you guys to make sure you're in a spot where you're not distracted, where you're able to see the pages. All right. One full moon night, Rabbit found a field of chilies. He was so pleased to see them, all glossy and green, that he jumped right in and ate the biggest one. When the sun rose, the farmer came to check the chilies. They were scattered everywhere, and the biggest, glossiest, greenest ones were gone. Among the plants, he saw rabbit tracks. So we can see the tracks right there. So what did he do? He made himself a beeswax doll, and he set that doll in the middle of the field to catch the chili thief. So the farmer made a beeswax doll, and the word beeswax we can hear it in the name, right? So it's made by bees, and it's like the sticky stuff that they have inside their house, okay? What do you think he's going to do with a beeswax doll and a rabbit? When night fell, Rabbit returned. He saw the farmer made of wax. He crept up to say hello and to ask for more chilies, too. But the wax farmer had nothing to say to Rabbit. Nothing at all. Rabbit was angry. He punched the farmer hard. His right paw stuck in the wax. Still, the farmer said nothing. He punched him once again. His left paw stuck too. Rabbit was so fuming mad, but the wax farmer was silent as the stars. So he hauled off with both feet and walloped him. Ay, ay, ay. Then the rabbit was trapped for sure. When the real farmer came to check his trap, he was delighted to see Rabbit there. "Qua delicioso! How delicious!" he said, rubbing his hands together. He popped Rabbit into a sack and took him home. When he got there, he hung up the sack, built a fine fire, and set a pot of water to boil. Then he went looking for herbs. From there, he was hanging in the sack. Rabbit saw Coyote coming. There's Coyote in the distance. "What are you doing there?" asked Coyote. "This man wants me to marry his daughter," Rabbit said. "But I'm too young. Hey, why don't you take my place? Look, the water's ready to make hot chocolate. There will be a grand party." When the farmer came back and took down the sack, he saw Coyote inside of it. "You'll pay for this," he said. He popped Coyote into the hot water. "Ay, ay, ay!" Coyote flew right out of that water and took off after Rabbit. So Rabbit tricked Coyote into thinking that he was going to marry his daughter. He followed his tracks until he found him high in a Jericho tree. "I'm going to eat you now," said Coyote, for he was very furious. So what did Rabbit do? Well, he knew that Coyote couldn't tell the difference between the fruit of the Jericho, hard as a rock, and the soft, sweet zapote. "Why eat me?" asked Rabbit, "when right here I have a sweet zapote fruit instead?" But is it? "Well, toss me one," growled Coyote. Rabbit did that. He tossed down the Jericho with all his might. Plunk! It struck Coyote and knocked him out cold as a cabbage. When Coyote woke up, he tracked Rabbit till he saw that furry scoundrel resting against a large rock at the edge of a hill. Oh my goodness. How's Rabbit going to get out of this one? Please don't eat me, pleaded Rabbit, leaning against the rock. Can't you see that if I don't hold back this rock, it will roll down and crush the world? Here, you hold it while I find some people to help us. Coyote believed Rabbit and took his place. Rabbit hopped off, free as a bee. And right here, it's kind of hard to see, he's saying, hasta luego. Try saying that real quick. Hasta luego. Hasta luego, it simply means see you later in Spanish, because this is a book told from Mexico, and there they speak Spanish. So we can see some Spanish speaking right here. There's a lot of people in the world that can actually speak Spanish. Soon, Coyote knew he'd made a mistake. He went after Rabbit, muttering all the while. When at last he found him, Coyote said, "Now I'll eat you." "But then, who will take care of the little children in this little school?" asked Rabbit, pointing to a wasp's nest on a low tree branch. "Someone needs to give it a knock if a pupil tries to leave." What do you think will happen to Coyote if he knocks at that wasp nest? I don't think it's good. Well, Coyote loved to give knocks, so he took the job. He lay near the branch and waited. When a wasp flew out, he whacked the branch and waited. When a wasp flew out, he whacked that wasp nest with a little stick. And all the wasps came after him. They chased him into a pond. Only his nose stuck out of the water, so they stung that many, many times. Oh, look up Coyote right now. He has dots all over bee stings. It was pitch black. It was a pitch black night when Coyote found Rabbit at the edge of the lake. Now he was really going to eat him. But Rabbit said, "Why eat me, Coyote, when I have been waiting for you so we can share the cheese that you see there?" Rabbit pointed to the moon's reflection upon the water. Remember what a reflection is. When you look in a mirror or you look at water, you can see it looking back. So here we see the moon's reflection. There's the moon right there. But Rabbit's saying it's cheese. So do you think Coyote's going to fall for it, knowing what we know about him so far in the book? "Of course," explained Rabbit. "We must first drink all the juice of the cheese in order to eat the cheese itself." So Coyote began drinking the water to reach the cheese itself. After a time, he said, "I simply can't drink more." "Just a few more sips," said Rabbit, "and you'll reach the cheese for sure." Look what's happening. He's drinking and drinking. Coyote drank more and more. He drank so much that water poured from his ears. But when he turned to discuss this with Rabbit, Rabbit ran away. Coyote ran after him as best as he could, but he was swollen as a sponge. Look how big he is. Now Rabbit knew of a ladder that reached into the sky. He began to climb it up, 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 and he hopped all the way to the moon. Then he hid the ladder far below. He saw Coyote looking for him up in the sky. But try as he might, Coyote never found the ladder. That is why, to this very day, coyotes sit gazing at the moon. And now and then he howls at it, for he is still very furious with Rabbit. So, why does Coyote howl at the moon based on that folktale? Do you really think that this is why coyotes howl at the moon? A folk tale like this one, sometimes it tries to explain something by telling a story. That is the end of our tale of Rabbit and Coyote. And now, you boys and girls, you can go take the Google form quiz. So, do your best. See you tomorrow.